Aiden here, and today we are reading terrible, awful fanfiction. Reading terrible fanfiction is sort of a hobby of mine, more of a guilty pleasure, I guess, and one of the best places, in my opinion, to do it is Wattpad, because the whole fan base of Wattpad mainly consists of 12 to 16-year-old girls, almost always who are super fucking edgy and also don't know how to write. So today we're going to be reading some of the worst fanfictions I was able to find on Wattpad, and just to give you a quick rundown of the type of shit you're going to see on this website, I'm going to show you a real fanfiction from there. This is The Bad Boy Saved Me by Smashing Innocent, a story about an abused nerd. Now, the reason I chose that one specifically to show you isn't because I'm going to actually read it, because I don't feel like it, and because it deals with abuse, which is way above my pay grade, but because of the cover. Let me just show that to you again. So, I assume that whoever wrote it just looked up Bad Boy on Google and got this. It's, generic ass dude with a leather jacket and an edgy shirt, but take a second to look at that shirt. If you don't immediately notice the problem, I don't blame you, but it's supposed to look like the Ramones logo, which, if it actually fucking loads, looks like this. Now let me show you the fanfiction version. It's a fucking Beatles shirt, which is about the least edgy bad boy I think you can get, considering it's literally the Beatles. But yeah, that's the sort of stuff you get to expect on Wattpad, the greatest website on earth. So the first one I'm going to show you is more about the idea, but the reason I clicked on it is because the main character, I guess, has the same name as me. So, that's pretty cool. And it's called My Xenomorph, : don't forget that, : Male Xenomorph Faunus X Ruby, which is the weirdest fucking combination I have ever heard in my entire life. Aiden was a normal Faunus, and if you're not familiar with Ruby, which I don't expect you are, Faunus are basically just furries. That's about it. Living on the streets at a young age when a man named Ironwood took him to Atlas. What he saw as a chance of life was a life full of testing and pain, until Ironwood found a queen xenomorph and captivated it, which I don't think is the word they meant to say. I think they meant to say captured. Not too sure about that though. And planted a facehugger onto Aiden, changing him. I'm not going to read that one either, I just wanted to show you what that was. Alright, so this next one is called Wish You Were Here, which is not a Pink Floyd fanfiction, but is a Harry Styles fanfiction. Did One Direction release a song called Wish You Were Here? I don't know, but I was expecting Pink Floyd and that wasn't what I got. This is another good one. It's called The Secret Daughter. The description is, Chris Brown, daughter, ? He only has one, right? ? Royalty, ? Nope, he has a whole 16-year-old daughter who is a secret. I mean, I sure hope he doesn't have a half 16-year-old daughter. No one knows about her. Read to find out more. I'm assuming he beats her as part of it. Alright, going on from that. The one that I really wanted to read is a creepypasta fanfiction. There are a lot of creepypasta fanfictions on here. Usually it's about a Jeff the Killer. This one is just creepypasta at reader. So that has me on the edge of my seat. This one is a reader self-insert fanfiction. Because I'm lazy as shit, instead of using my real name and my real sexy appearance, it's gonna be about Danny DeVito. As a young girl's curtains were yanked open by an angry mother, gentle light filtered into the room, causing her to slowly wake and drone. Danny sat up slowly, rubbing the sleep out of her eyes. Okay, blah blah blah, the mother gets angry at her because the house isn't clean, and he slaps her. So that's a real common thing in a lot of these Wattpad fanfictions, is a lot of them deal with emotional, sexual, domestic, child, pretty much all of the abuses, and sometimes rape, written by someone who has never actually dealt with them and is almost always poorly done and or romanticized, which isn't the best. So we got introduced to a dude named Liam, who is described as his cheeks a bit flushed, and he had that strange love-struck smile on his face again. And he's like, hey, living with your abusive mother, come live with us. How fucking old are these children? They're like in high school. But for some reason, this person doesn't understand that there are laws meaning that you're literally like owned by your parent, and that you kind of have to live with them unless you call Child Protective Services, which I'm surprised no one's done at this point, considering how open she is about that. So, Liam says, chuckles quietly and gets an idea. Why don't you just live with me? I have 2 beds in my room and my own bathroom. Plus, my mom and dad really like you. I'm sure she'd let you stay if you explain the situation you're in. I thought about this for a second. His parents are really nice. Plus, Liam is already like a brother to me. ... Liam just got fucking friend-zoned. I mean, if it's okay with your parents, Lee, that's really sweet of you to offer. Thanks, I say with a small smile. Liam grins at me, and soon, after class has officially started. Another time skip because school is boring, lol. That's another thing you find a lot in these, like, really poorly written fanfictions is time skips, which I have no problem with. But they label the time skips for some bizarre reason, when no one would question if you just sort of, like, didn't, you know? I don't get it. I don't know how it started, and it hasn't stopped. Walking home that day after making a plan with Liam to move in next week, I was in a pretty good mood. I plugged my earbuds into my phone and turned on favorite song loudly, but not loud enough to have anyone else hearing it. I walked down the street slowly, not very eager to get home. Suddenly, I bump into someone running into me. The figure is in an orange hoodie and dark blue jeans. He, I assume, has wild brown hair, though I can't make out his facial features. Why do you assume he has wild brown hair? Why don't you know? You saw him. Watch it, I hissed quietly, continuing to run away. I hear him murmur a small, sorry, ma'am, as he runs off. Thinking nothing of it, I continue my walk home. Sorry if the camera's really shaky. I'm holding this with my hand. It's like against the thing of my bed. She goes home, her mom's drunk, and her mom beats her. Masky's POV. I don't know who Masky is. I'm not very familiar with the creepypasta canon, I guess is the best way I can describe it. But I looked it up, and apparently he was a character in the Marble Hornets YouTube series, which if you don't know was like a Slenderman ARG cool thing. I never watched it. Everyone else did, so, you know. Masky's POV. Oh my god, sitting in the Slender Mansion. Okay, so apparently in this universe, Slender Man owns a mansion called the Slender Mansion, and apparently all of the, like, creepypasta characters hang out in it, and I guess just, like, lounge around. I don't know what the fuck that's about, but I guess it's a thing. I think back to the events of the day. Hoodie and I went out and completed our weekly quota quickly. Although I did bump into some girl. I snickered to myself as an amusing thought comes to my head. I could have killed her if it wasn't for all the people milling around. Dark-ass thought. I pull myself off of the couch and stretch, holding back a yawn. Rubbing the back of my head, I go straight to the kitchen to make myself dinner. In there, I find Slender wearing a large apron, making some food for himself. So I guess, like, Slenderman is just this huge, like, mom figure with a apron and shit. That's not what I expected to be thinking about today, but now it's all I'm gonna be thinking about today. Hello, Masty. I shuffle over to the cupboard and touch it, taking out a strawberry Pop-Tart. Evening, Slendy. Any news? He shrugs. No, Slender pauses. Well, yes, if you count the fact that Jeff and Ben have been fighting on and off all day over a girl they saw out on a hunt. Just so you know, Ben is spelled in all capitals like in the original Ben Drowned fanfiction, which sort of takes you out of the illusion. Also, I'm still not over this fact that there's just this, like, cinematic universe of creepypasta characters all hanging out in a place called the Slender Mansion. I stifle a laugh and pop the pastry into the toaster. Sounds like something they do, I say in an amused tone. He mm-hms me, and I can't help but smile a little underneath my mask. Speaking of Jeff, he enters the kitchen. Hey, asswipes, he says as he yawns. Asswipes is censored, but for some reason, the part that they decided to censor wasn't the A, it was like the middle S of ass, which is a bizarre choice. Tired from all the fighting with Ben, I see, I muse. He sticks his tongue out at me and grabs a soda from the fridge, and with that, he's gone. Alright, so Massey shows up, he talks, and then the chapter ends. I'm going to move on from this because I don't want to spend too much time on one fan fiction. This next one isn't a BTS fan fiction or a creepypasta fan fiction. It's a Billie Eilish. Is that how you say it? I always pronounce it Eilish. People correct me and say it's Eilish, which I guess makes more sense considering how it's spelled. But I think that Eilish sounds way better, so I'm going to say that. If Billie Eilish ever watches this video and fucking tries to murder me because of that, I'm sorry. Alright. London Heathrow, arriving LAX International. The robotic voice jolted me awake from my awkward, accidental nap against the shoulder of a stranger. I'm sure they really enjoyed that. Rubbing my eyes, I quickly sat up straight and readjusted my beanie, trying to bring myself back to life in time to make a good impression towards the people I'm meeting at the airport. The palm trees and pastel skies were a big contrast to the grey, soggy atmosphere back in England. Soggy's a weird descriptive choice, but alright. This was definitely something I could get used to. LA is my temporary home for the next few months. I'm an artist, and my design work recently got picked up by a record label. Billie Eilish's record label. They wanted me to move out to LA for this next tour, the When We All Fall Asleep Where Do We Go tour, and create new posters / merch designs whilst on the road with them, so I can use the atmosphere and events as inspiration. I think that they want all that shit designed before the tour starts. I mean, that just makes reasonable sense, you know? I stumbled through the crowd, packed in a small corridor, desperate to finally have some air that wasn't infected with other people's breaths and bio. I think they meant BO, but they couldn't hit the slash on the keyboard. Once the sliding doors were inside, I sped up and burst through them, more or less into the arms of a humongous man, holding a sign with my name on it. I flashed him an awkward smile. Laughing, the man who I assumed was Mike put his hand on my shoulder and took the bag with his other one. Rose! His voice was strikingly American and strong, like he should be doing voiceovers for action movies or something. What kind of action movies are you watching that have voiceovers in them? Welcome to the US. Hope your flight was as good as it could be. You ready to go, or is there anything else you gotta do? I battled through the slight sensory overload of this man's booming voice being the first voice I've heard in 13 hours. That was a long flight. Is that how long? Hold on. I'm gonna edit this, probably. Yeah, okay. So, I guess it got it right. It's around 13 hours. I've never been in an airplane. I don't know that shit. Yes, of course. Thank you so much. I can take my bag. It's okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for meeting me. My face flushed red at the amount of times I just thanked Mike, but he just laughed and shook his head. Come on, he chirped. We'll go find Phineas and get the hell out of here. LAX is a nightmare. Well, they got something right. Chapter 2. My hand slipped when we went over a bump in the car, and my forehead smacking against the window was enough to wake me. I heard Phineas chuckle from behind, and I turned a joking glare at him. Phineas and I instantly clicked since we found him at the airport. He's honestly the sweetest guy I ever met. He smiled like a little kid when he first saw me, and I swear it was like I had already known him. The whole way back to the car, we were dawdling behind Mike. He was telling me about everyone else on the tour, what to expect, and where we'll be staying. Rose? I hummed in response to Phineas's voice in the back street, continuing to check the messages I got when my phone was on airplane mode. Do you know anyone in LA already? Are you literally flying solo out here? He laughed. Actually, I made friends with these twins when they were in England on some tour once, and we've stayed friends ever since. Justin and Ethan. I'd say I'm closer to Ethan by a lot, but they're both lovely. Phineas pursed his lips and raised his eyebrows, nodding. I typed out a message to the twins whilst I remembered, whilst Phineas fiddled with the aux cord. Just put whilst twice in one sentence. I don't think that's how whilst is supposed to be used. But who am I to say? I'm not Latabule Feeling, author of this amazing fanfiction, the artist. Check it out if you have a chance. Triplets. Rose. Guess who's out in LA? Ethan. Please be Nicki Minaj. Justin. Yes. How was your flight? Did everything go okay at the airport? Rose. Thank you, Justin. It was amazing. Fuck you, Ethan. Ethan, winky face. Okay, I don't know who these people are, so I'm gonna look them up. I guess I'm behind the times. Well, they're a character on a TV show called Queer as Folk. So I guess that's what it's about. I'm not too sure. We pulled up to the venue about an hour and a half later. Sound check was still in progress, so we couldn't get into the hotel until later on. Don't worry about first impressions or anything. Most of the people in here are douchebags, he mumbled, laughing as I giggled at him. He pulled the door open, stepping back and gesturing for me to go inside. However, before I could even step forward, two colorful blurs burst through the door and straight into me. They were clearly arguing, as I had heard one shouting before we even opened the door, but only one of them continued to. I felt a hand on my back before I turned around to go look at them. Bro, oh my god, oh wait, I think that might actually be, our main character, Billy. So, I don't know how she sounds when she talks. I'm gonna cut that out. Oh, I'm just gonna give her a random voice. Bro, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Now it feels kind of insulting, I'm sorry. Oh, I guess all these chapters start with a different picture of Billy. This is one they decided to choose for this chapter, which I guess is from Hot Wings. I don't remember the name of the actual fucking show, you can look it up. I spun around to face a concerned voice and instantly regretted my decision. It was Billy. Billy Ellish. See, I was right, I'm a genius. Not only the person I've been hired to be in control of her creative department, who I have to follow around on tour, who I have to live with for the next year, my boss, but it's also Billy Ellish. Whoever's fucking outside my house must be really confused as what's going on right here. So they laugh, they introduce each other. One, Phineas says "Milady," so I assume he's the neckbeard. Alright, so she goes up some staircase and accidentally ends up on stage during the sound check, which she freaks out about despite the fact that it's a sound check. I don't think it matters. So you're gonna, like, sing or what? Because we're kinda in the middle of something here. Billy smirked, cocking her eyebrows at me and leaning against a pillar. It was kind of sexy, but the amount of mortifyingly horrific embarrassment I was feeling sort of overruled that thought. Okay, I'm gonna end this fanfiction because I don't really care too much about it. Alright, so that's gonna be the end of me reading terrible fanfictions, because this hour tag is getting pretty long. I'm sorry I never got to finish any of them, but they're all pretty shit, so I doubt you care. Thank you and have a good night.
Ba-doom ba-doom ba 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 ba-doom ba-doom ba 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 ba-doom ba wow wow ba 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 ba-doom ba-doom ba ba